This is Rockslapping Champions. Player 1, playing Artanis. We have Eden. And player 2, playing Zagara. We have Kangor. So let's have a look at the masteries while the players get set up. Artanis is a level 473 Ascension player. They've gone 30 points into the Guardian Shell, 30 points into the Energy Regeneration Mastery, 30 points into the Sphere of Illusion Energy Mastery. Artanis has picked the Archship Commandant. And notice the last sentence in the disadvantage. Guardian Shell is unavailable, or is disabled. So we have 30 points of the Guardian Shell, so those 30 mastery points are pretty much being burned right now, not really doing anything. One of the most important things as well is that usually the Shield Overcharge mastery is a better mastery anyway, because it allows you to prevent damage on your units, so it prevents you from taking damage onto your unit's hull, so that's a double whammy right there. Cigar is a level 0 Ascension level commander. They have gone for the Scourge Queen Prestige, so they're on their way to leveling pretty much the worst commander in the game for leveling. The P1 Zagara has made, or P2 Zagara has made Zagara a little bit easier to level, but even then it is just still a really difficult experience leveling Zagara. And Zagara is using the P1 Prestige here, so she's using the Scourge Queen Prestige, so Zagara is unavailable. The first set of crystals have also finished spawning right there. So what do we have on the way for Artanis? Artanis has built a couple of warp gates and he's already put down his forge. He's going up to now his cybernetics core. This positioning is probably not ideal. It's actually kind of interesting to see how it's going to end up playing out. Artanis only needs one pylon, so he doesn't really need any more to be able to produce all the structures that he needs for his army, so we'll see how that ends up working out. And funnily enough, that one crystal has still not been picked up. There are 2 more drones on the way, and what are they doing? They're parked right in the middle of the circle for no apparent reason, but now finally they are going to go and okay, so there we go. That drone is going to go and pick up that last crystal. The first attack wave is on the way, and we have a 3rd warp gate out for Artanis. Still no units out, so I'm kind of curious to know, maybe Artanis is waiting to see what the enemy composition is before he chooses to build a certain kind of unit here, but he's still not gone for his Twilight Council anyway, and if he intends on using Zealots to tank for these units, he probably will want to have at least some units here. But Zagara is already ready and in position, so she'll be able to handle this first attack wave without any problems right now. And we have a few lings over here, so very efficient use of the banelings to try and kill off as many lings as possible. And there we go, that is up for Zagara. What is Artanis doing right now? Artanis is still producing some stuff. He does not seem to be wanting to push into an expansion right now, but he has his warp field as well over here right next to Spawn. He can move that, that's not an issue for him. And Zagara now to try and push into this enemy base here. So these banelings are probably not going to be able to clear out all these defenders here. Artanis has spotted that his ally is going to be pushing, so he will be taking a probe over, and I think he's going to drop a warp field and start warping in some units. So he's going to go in and engage this enemy camp, or this enemy expansion here. So we have a few more drones already on the way. So these drones are also getting ready. So what is Artanis going to do? Oh yeah, warp field comes down. We have a few dragoons, no micro on these dragoons right now, so that one dragoon already takes a little bit of damage from the Ravager's corrosive bile, and now these dragoons are going to be moving in. Again, no movement on this, and we have a solar bombardment that gets used on this hatchery. So this takes the hatchery out, which is also kind of nice, but it is somewhat problematic because usually you'd want to use the solar bombardment here. There's going to be a drop attack right now that's coming up, and Artanis has actually taken this expansion using his dragoons to clear out, I think, the rest of these units. There are Mutalisks as well that's going to be upset with this, and we have again some more Mutalisks on the that came up from the drop attack. The Scourge are killing off some of these overlords, but not all of them. There's still 1 more left. And, oh, there are actually 4 more left here. Baneling's already in position. Whatever drops right now is going to end up dying, and that is pretty much it. Somewhat inefficient use here of the Banelings because the Zerglings are being dropped one at a time. Each Zergling ends up killing off 1 Baneling. So usually what you'd want with Zagara is to let all these Zerglings drop so you can take advantage of your Baneling splash damage. But now these Banelings are going to be moving towards the second set or third set of crystals here, and they're going to clear out these Zerglings. There's some more links as well on the other side, and Artanis' army has cleared out his allies' expansion. So the allies, Artanis is doing okay. He's helping his ally out, and he's actually flowing a lot of resources here. I guess he doesn't really need to use his orbital strikes right now, but he should probably consider dumping some of this energy into at least some orbital strikes right here to just help his ally out and just get a little bit of extra value for make sure he's not like burning any unnecessary energy regeneration. He's going to start pushing in right now. Corrosive Bile comes up on these Dragoons here. That one Viper tries to have a look around to see what is going on, and that Viper ends up dying. And now another Corrosive Bile right on top of this Zealot, and Artanis' Dragoons are not actually moving forward. Like they just let the Zealot hang out to dry over there without actually A-clicking forward. Finally, now these Dragoons are going to be moving, and they will clear out the rest of this island here. One of the things I do like about this mission is that there are like tiny little islands, but now there's an attack wave here, and there are a lot of Banelings, so Artanis has to be careful with how he does that. I think he spawned his... I think he did take out some of these Banelings from the Unbound Fanatics, but I think it was a little bit too late, and he did end up losing a few of those units there. Yeah, so 7 of those Dragoons ended up dying in that engage, but Artanis has managed to clear this out. And again, like I said, no Guardian Shell available for him, and there's still, so far, no shield overcharges. Artanis is sitting at about 200 energy in this game, so he'll probably want to try and like at least dump the energy a little bit somewhere. And I think one of the best things he can do is just start like adding a little bit of pressure to these southern islands here, but Artanis is going to be moving towards the central island, and he has actually cleared the extractors here, so he's going to do that right now. And Zagara is going to be moving to help your ally clear those extractors for Artanis to put his assimilators on. What do we have in production now? We have a shield upgrade coming out. So again, I keep saying this for every single Rockslapping Champions episode. Shield upgrades are not really as valuable as attack and armor upgrades, and as attack upgrades, not even armor upgrades. The shield does help a little bit, but again, like I see, the Dragoons has 80 shield, so you're not really going to get as much value from your shield upgrades. I can see why people like them, but there's absolutely no reason to go for these upgrades. Especially if you are really short on resources, you should always be prioritizing attack upgrades over everything else. So again, also here the other thing to note as well is that Artanis doesn't even have the charge upgrade, and their charge upgrade is not being researched right now, and you need to have the charge upgrade to keep these Zealots on the front line so that the Dragoons don't take unnecessary damage. So what has Artanis lost so far? He's lost 9 Dragoons, and now there is a drop attack right on top of Artanis' army, and these Lings are going to get surrounded on these Dragoons. 1 Dragoon already goes down. Few of these Zealots try and stop these Zerglings from killing off these Dragoons, but Artanis has gotten a full, like, the Amon has gotten a full surround on these Dragoons and pretty much wiped out everything in Artanis' army. Artanis has lost 20 Dragoons so far, and now Artanis is on the back burner. He seems to be unfazed with the fact that he has lost his entire army. He is just slowly macroing up. He's just adding some more probes over here. I'm taking a look at this camera little thing right now, and now he's moved back. He's like, where did my army go? My army is gone. So he will have to warp in another set of forces here. So Zagara is going to be moving forward, and there are a few links here. Artanis did get a little bit of the army, so that is okay. And now there is another attack wave on the way, and that will be making its way towards... Okay, there's a double-pronged attack wave. So one attack wave will be moving right down here, and usually upwards, and this other one is going to be attacking Zagara's expansion. So Zagara might need to do something about that. Over here, that attack wave is moving, and Zagara is going to be able to engage this a little bit, I think. And now the enemy units are pouncing on top of Artanis' army, or on top of Zagara's expansion. But here, Artanis is pushing in, completely ignoring the attack wave, warping in a few more Dragoons here, takes out the Hybrid Dominator. Solar Bombardment really nicely positioned right in the middle of this area, so it does deal a lot of damage. And I don't think Artanis really lost very much. Yeah, he lost 1 Dragoon there. Might be a small micro error, but not really an issue. So Artanis has managed to basically lever Amon's forces out of this area, and now Artanis has captured this next area here, and now we have a bunch of Scourge that are going to try and snipe at Molten Cell. So this might need to be, like, I don't think it's going to be enough to kill him on Molten Cell, but might take him to about 50% HP. So Molten Cell does use a little bit of an ability here, and a few more Scourge. Okay, yeah, so he's sitting about 33% HP, like 1/3, so that'll be okay. Zagara can use the Scourge later on, and now they're showing some more crystals. And if the crystal spawns here, it means that Artanis has to be careful because it means the drop attack is on the northern side. And again, lots of Banelings, lots of Zerglings. This time Zealots on the front line, but the Banelings try and hit these Immortals. Immortals do take some health damage, but do not end up dying. But a few of these Dragoons have died so far. I think 2 or 3 more Dragoons have died in the process, but I think those Immortals were kind of the MVPs here. But Artanis, again, like I said, is flowing that energy from Shield Overcharge. He can utilize the Shield Overcharge to prevent the damage that he's taking, and therefore doesn't even need his Protoss shield upgrades as well, because his units will not be taking damage at all. What is Artanis producing right now? He's going for more shield upgrades, and we have the Singularity Charge, and finally now we have the charge upgrade that's coming out for the Zealots. So that's going to help keep these Zealots on the front line. The Zealots, as sad as it sounds to say, is they are just expendable units. It's okay to have them just soak up the damage, especially from Banelings. And if they have the Whirlwind upgrade, which Artanis has researched, is really, really nice, because the units are actually kind of wedged on the side. They're somewhat confused as to where they want to go. Again, they want to try and push into this side. This may not be too wise, because there are 2 very, very upset hybrids right there. And Artanis' army is going to be taking a little bit of damage. Unbound Fanatics get used over here, and then Attack Wave spawns, and you'll see how valuable the Unbound Fanatics can be. They just completely shred through that Attack Wave, and yeah, that was actually really nice. I do not know if Artanis had intended to do that or not, but that Unbound Fanatic timing was pretty much perfect. It ends up killing off the entire Attack Wave with the splash damage that they're able to deal. Artanis now floating at 220 energy. I'd like to see him use his shield overcharge a little bit, so that he can actually mitigate the amount of damage that his units are taking on their shield, and it'll actually save him from using the Protoss shield upgrades as well. Like, the shield upgrades, especially for Protoss, are really, really expensive, and when you are short on resources, especially short on gas, it's very important to try and utilize your gas as effectively as possible. The cost of the armor upgrades and the shield upgrades is not really the mineral count, because a lot of people end up flowing minerals anyway. It's that gas cost. And the gas that you use to get these armor upgrades is going towards your higher tech units in your army, which means you have a smaller army, which means you end up taking more damage on your army anyway. So something to note as well when you are considering going for armor and shield upgrades. If you are floating the gas, obviously, it's a no-brainer. You might as well, invest in them. But for the most part, there's not really any value to getting armor upgrades, especially if you don't get hit. But anyway, Molten Zal comes up, spawns right on top of some Scourge, and the Scourge just ends up smoking him up. Don't go there. Don't go there. That is bad. Lava is bad. There is an attack wave that has spawned, and now will be moving as well. I actually do not know where the attack wave is going to go, but I think Artanis will have to try, and you probably want to engage that. And we have also 3 crystals spawn here. Sometimes you can get a lot of good value with one nice solar bombardment right on top of this attack wave, and while the solar bombardment is going, what you can do is you can actually take off the escort waves here that when the harass waves are mid-drop used to stop you taking crystals as well. So you can kind of get like 4 waves with one. But Artanis is slowly starting to push through, and it seems to be okay here. It's 260 energy being flowed right now. Zealots jumping on the front line. You can see why these Zealots are actually really good, is they just soak up so much damage. Dragoons get warped in right in the middle here. Some more of the Unbound Fanatics have been used. One thing to note about the Unbound Fanatics is that they are bugged at the moment, and if you try and hit a structure with your Orbital Strike and they are not, and if you hit like right in the middle of a fat kind of structure, what can happen is your Unbound Fanatic will not spawn. So be careful when you do use your Orbital Strikes with Artanis, but Artanis has been able to handle this reasonably well. He's able to clear all of these units out, hasn't really taken too many severe losses ever since those last few drop attacks, and Zagara has pretty much cleared out the Amon base here, so that is all pretty good for these commanders. So now it's just basically a waiting game, and this is actually one of the reasons why I don't really enjoy this mission very much, is that there is a little bit of downtime where you're waiting for the next thing to happen. There is an attack wave on the way, and Artanis, I think, has noticed that, and he wants to engage this attack wave. Again, he will have to be careful. There are a lot of Banelings in this attack wave, lots of Lings. Unbound Fanatics get used, but they're on the back line here, and Artanis is going to engage the Hybrid Dominator, and he has actually put himself right in the middle of a flank. And we have a Hybrid Dominator over here, Mutalisks and Zerglings attacking the Immortals from the back here, and some more Infestors that are casting their fungal growth on top of Artanis' army. And Artanis is pretty much losing his entire force here, finally using some more Unbound Fanatics to wipe out the attack wave, but Artanis has actually lost almost all of his Immortals right there, and he also, I do not think he has detection with his army. So these swarm moves, okay, there we go. There's the detection that he needs, but he's pretty much killed off everything with the Unbound Fanatic attack wave. And then now again, there's a crystal that has spawned over here, which means there's an attack wave that's gonna be moving in towards this high group from this ramp. So Artanis will have to be a little bit careful with what he is doing. He is gonna go and engage this, and I think there are again some more hybrids over here, and he's gonna flank himself again. He's going to engage the Hybrid Dominators on the front, and the Zerglings could take a full wraparound, and they have their adrenal glands upgrade, and they are just going to be killing off like all of Artanis' army there. Artanis ends up with 1 Immortal left, and I think 1 Dragoon, and yeah, down goes the Hybrid Dominator. Artanis has lost 5 Immortal, 32 Zealots, and 62 Dragoons right there. Artanis not able to max out because he keeps taking engagements in the worst possible time because he's not paying attention to these attack waves, and as a result he's getting sandwiched in between the enemy base that he's trying to push as well as the attack waves that are spawning on this mission. So this is somewhat rough for Artanis, but he is going to be remaxing out. Look at how many, I just realized, look at how many minerals what's her base has, Zagara. That is a lot of mineral income for Zagara. That is just absolutely insane. 12,000 minerals for Zagara. Zagara actually killing off pretty much everything here. Zagara is going to finally end up wiping out the last of Aemon's bases, and Artanis is going to be done. But because I was not paying attention to the crystals. But those are all the crystals deposited. And that